Hi, I'm Allison, and this is Nellie, and we're on a mission. And we're on Nellie's first long-haul road trip. A real long haul. Hi, good morning. How did you sleep? Are you still sleepy? Our journey began the day before this when I took off early from work and drove the first few hours from Seattle to Central Washington. For day one officially, though, we're heading through, somewhere through Oregon and Idaho. Honestly, it all runs together when you're just passing through. I-82 and I-84, which I've driven more times than I can count, are not terribly interesting. But eventually you get to Moab, which, as I have also shown you before, more than makes up for the barren desert one must cross to get there. While we aren't staying along this leg, we'll be back for a break when we make our way home. But Nellie learned, finally, how to play fetch here, and I did catch a quick sunrise the next day before it was then time to head down to New Mexico for a fiesta. The Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. Aside from maybe an international flight, it's the only thing that'll get me out of bed at 1 a.m. to stand in line. Started in 1972 with 13 balloons. It's, ballooned to almost 600 lighter-than-air aircraft of all shapes, sizes, and colors, with more than 800,000 guests attending over 9 days. And, for reasons that are obvious, is now one of the most photographed events in the world. Now, this is way out of my hermit comfort zone as far as crowds and lines go, but even this crowd curmudgeon thinks it was still totally worth it. I think the gates opened at something like 4:30 a.m. to people with balloon ride tickets. You can come stand on the field or reserve one of a number of places at Balloon Fiesta Park to watch the festivities, but I decided that if I'm going to drag myself across the country to stand in the freezing cold, I might as well go big, so I could then firmly cross Balloon Fiesta off my bucket list. So I snagged tickets on the last available private balloon for myself and my family with the only service you can use to book for Balloon Fiesta for a Tuesday, not on the kickoff weekend. That's too much crowd. And then I crossed my fingers for favorable winds and watched the drone show. Funny story, I had breakfast at 1 a.m., if you call pistachios and coffee breakfast, in order to leave on time to drive from our accommodation in Santa Fe to get here. By the time the balloon ride will be over, it'll be almost lunchtime. So getting the upgrade that came with breakfast was a kindness I thanked my past self for, because it kept us from having to wait in line at this unfathomable hour to eat fair food as a snack. I love a good funnel cake, but not at 5 a.m., thank you. About 45 minutes after the gate opened, as one of the staff put it, things start to happen fast. Because the balloons can't literally all take off at once. They wouldn't fit on the field, for one, and two, that would be kind of dangerous. The morning mass ascension has to start on time in order for all the balloons to be up with the sunrise. A small group goes in the dark to check the wind currents, and then folks begin to inflate. By the time our balloon team began inflating, dozens had already taken off and hundreds would come after us, all ushered along by zebras on the field. The folks dressed like referees. And as soon as that balloon is upright, it's time to immediately get in and go. As soon as you start to take off, you can begin to appreciate the size of the Balloon Fiesta field. That's 56 football fields right there, and it takes 3,000 people to get everyone off the ground every day for 9 days. It also won't take long for you to understand why they call Balloon Fiesta the most photographed event in the world. Someone estimated, I don't know who or how, that cameras snap 25 million still photos throughout its duration each year. Now that we're up and away, it's probably worth mentioning a few things. Albuquerque is 5,000 feet above sea level, and you'll be ascending another 2,000 feet. That elevation doesn't usually register too much on most people's lungs, but if you're sensitive or have a health condition, know that because you'll be standing under giant fire, you can't exactly take an oxygen tank on board. If you're in a small balloon, you'll have to climb in and out of a very tall basket on your own. I think it's equivalent maybe to like mounting a pony to ride it. Larger balloons that fit 12, though, have doors on them if you're not a cowfolk. I took some anti-nausea medicine for the trip just in case, but the ride was short and smooth enough that I don't think I really needed it. What wasn't super smooth was the landing. Although, to be fair, our pilot was really experienced and got us over the barbed wire fence, and he didn't tip the balloon over when we landed, as apparently sometimes happens. There, our chase car met us to help pack up the balloon and drive us back across town to the park. But before we did that, there's a toast. And this toast includes the following Irish balloonist prayer that I'll leave you with. The winds have welcomed you with softness. The sun has blessed you with its warm hands. You have flown so high and so well that God has joined you in laughter and set you gently back again into the loving arms of Mother Earth. Well, now I have to drive home. That's what, 2,000 miles, like 30 hours or something. I think we can have a little fun along the way. What do you think, Nellie?